Hello everyone. This video is made as an assignment in the course Sustainable Development and Corporate Sustainability. The topic is Sustainable Practices in the Tea and Coffee Industry. There are many things which matter in order to make this cultivation sustainable. First is the Code of Conduct. By holding the suppliers accountable to sustainability standards of the company can make sure they only partner with principled companies. The code can include commitments in the areas like child labor, human trafficking, migrant labor, abuse, harassment, disciplinary action, compensation and benefits, working hours, health and safety, environment, and ethical business practices. This can be done through continuous review and enhancements and supply chain traceability. The UTZ Code of Conduct emphasizes both environmental practices and social benefits. UTZ Certified was co-founded by the Dutch coffee roaster Ahold Coffee Company in 1997. It aims to create an open and transparent marketplace for socially and environmentally responsible agricultural products. Indian companies can certify their production processes for credibility. Certifications like UTZ are accepted internationally and provide trust to the brand and keep the ecosystem safe. Next is the raw material. The tea and coffee cultivation companies rely on to produce those drinks which provide crucial employment and are sources of income in developing countries. Companies want to keep that impact positive by helping grow the industry while developing sustainable farming methods that are scalable and commercially viable. Mars Incorporation have been sourcing 100% of their coffee from Rainforest Alliance and UTZ certified sources. By sourcing their coffee from the certified locations, they contribute to a coffee industry that will thrive in the future, and so will the communities surrounding it. They plan to drive transparency, engagement, and transformation. Indian companies like Tata always keep certification in utmost priority. All estates of Tata are triple certified UTZ, RA, and SA 8000. A reaffirmation of the Tata commitment to the environment, quality, and people. Both Arabica and Robusta are shade-grown and entirely sun-dried as a means of energy saving. All the farms have large irrigation tanks filled through rainwater harvesting, which minimizes groundwater usage to the barest minimum. They harvest nearly 570 million gallons of water.
Most of the companies in the tea and coffee industry, which are serious about responsible and sustainable sourcing, follow a model wherein for any supplier that wants to supply to these companies, a prerequisite is that they should have high quality produce and are economically accountable. At the same time, the company ensures that social responsibility and environmental leadership is maintained by these suppliers. Some companies that do follow this model to ensure responsible sourcing are Mars Food, the chocolate company, the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf Co., Starbucks, Organic Coffee Co. Coffee. Now let's see what these companies specifically do to ensure buyers are in line with the company's efforts for sustainability. So these companies work with only those suppliers who can meet and strictly adhere to the ethical and sustainable standards and specifications laid down by the company. Suppliers who don't meet the prerequisites are straightaway rejected. There are of every supplier they continue pursuing sustainable practices. There's acknowledged responsible supply done through different missions and certification programs to ensure that the supplier can use practices that are profitable for the supplier if not economically viable. The whole supply chain is verified frequently because these companies believe that sustainability is achieved not just by being sustainable yourself, but by ensuring that you create, develop, and thrive in a fully sustainable environment.
Now we talk about sustainable energy practices followed in tea industry. The various sources through which sustainable practices are being taken place, like a windmill, hydroelectricity plants, sustainable moisture control plants. Tea, being a very delicate perennial plant, is sensitive to small manipulation in temperature and precipitation. That is why it's really important that such practices takes place. Also, climate change is also expected to increase the number of pests and disease affecting the tea plants. So we now talk about the benchmarking practices, certain practices which are best in the world and certain practices which need improvement in India. The best practices include following standard of sustainable agriculture center, using energy efficient tractors, using organic routes for distribution of products, carrying out environmental impact assessments, harvesting efficiency, the choice of harvesting standards, and the application of good manufacturing practices in primary tea processing. The areas which require improvement involve plant breeding in order to develop highly efficient, high value planting material for the future, which in turn will help distribution of quality produce. Also, all tea products must be within legal or trade standard limits for microbial contamination, free from heavy metal, significant foreign bodies, and any substances potentially harmful to the consumers. Such practices need improvement and should be benchmarked with the practices just mentioned, which were the best. Now, sustainable transportation practices followed in tea industries. According to McKinsey, estimates changes in transportation modes alone can reduce supply chain energy use by 4% of the GDP by 2020, which is a huge saving, which can also affect our climate change and reduce the impact on greenhouse emissions. Logistics is one of the vital areas of opportunity for improving sustainability, performance, and reducing cost. Setting long-term quantitative reduction targets is really important to change the practices involved in logistics. Thank you.
We now talk about waste management. Celsius Coffee is New Zealand's first certified carbon neutral coffee company, which means that their coffee is delivered emissions free. They have developed the ideal cup, that is a lifetime reusable takeaway coffee cup which can be used instead of disposable plastic cups. They operate a sustainable packaging policy which aims to use the least environmentally damaging packaging as compared to others in the same business. Their waste management policy aims to reduce their waste to landfill to zero by following the 3 R's of reduce, reuse and recycle. Agricultural wastewater can be converted to renewable natural gas or biogas using a new technique. Pilot projects have been undertaken to apply this process in about 6 countries till date. Another new technique that has been developed by BioBeanHas is that of caffeinated cars to process the waste that is generated after the coffee has been brewed. Waste coffee grounds can be processed into advanced biofuel and biochemicals. This carbon neutral clean fuel is sold to businesses and helps to power the same coffee shops that provided the waste to be recycled. Moving on to land use, organic farming can be undertaken using sweet grounds. That is a soil conditioner product that incorporates waste coffee grounds and naturally occurring minerals. Coffee waste is an excellent substrate for growing tropical mushrooms using pulp that would otherwise have polluted the environment. A multinational project involving a Chinese scientist and partners from Colombia and the republics of Namibia, Serbia and Zimbabwe has been undertaken for this. Thank you.
The Sustainable Packaging Coalition is an industry more robust environmental vision for packaging through strong member support and informed supply chain collaborations and continuous outreach to packaging systems that encourage economic prosperity. How the Sustainable Packaging for a better future. The Sustainable Packaging Coalition has carefully crafted a perfect packaging plan for packaging development. It mainly involves 3 strategies. These strategies can be broadly classified into 3 broad categories. These are sourcing, packaging optimization, and recovery. Now we come to the recycling process. The recycling process for packaging is one of the most vital ingredients for the sustainable packaging. The recycling process consists of design for recyclability, in which suitable recyclable materials are chosen carefully in order to package the stuffs, recycling access, sorting and recovery, reusage, and lastly but not the least, compliance with FTC guidelines. Sustainable Packaging Coalition is already looking towards a better future for sustainable packaging development.